Are you tired of yo-yo dieting and never finding a solution to your weight struggles? Discover the shocking truth about the real causes of obesity and learn the science-backed strategies to finally break free from the cycle of gaining and losing weight in this video on Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It by Gary Taubes. Welcome to this summary of the book, Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It by Gary Taubes. In this video, we will be discussing the author's findings and insights about why we gain weight and what we can do about it. The misconceptions about weight gain is a central theme in Taubes' book. Taubes argues that there are many popular misconceptions about weight gain that have been perpetuated for decades, and that these misconceptions have caused a great deal of harm to people trying to lose weight. One of the biggest misconceptions is the idea that weight gain is simply a matter of consuming too many calories and not getting enough exercise. Taubes argues that this is not the case and that there is a much more complex set of factors at play. He argues that this conventional wisdom is based on flawed science and misunderstandings of the mechanisms behind weight gain. According to Taubes, it's not as simple as burning more calories than you consume. According to Taubes, the body's regulation of fat storage and metabolism is not simply a matter of calories in versus calories out. This view is often referred to as the calories in, calories out (CICO) model. However, this model oversimplifies the complex nature of weight gain and fails to take into account the underlying hormonal and metabolic changes that influence body fat storage. Gary Taubes argues that the CICO model doesn't consider the different effects of various types of calories on the hormones that regulate fat storage, such as insulin. He also mentions that the CICO model assumes that the body's metabolic rate is constant, when in reality it's highly influenced by the type and amount of food we eat. For example, a high carbohydrate diet can result in elevated insulin levels, which in turn causes the body to store more fat, even if the total number of calories consumed is controlled. Taubes argues that the belief that weight gain is simply a matter of consuming too many calories and not getting enough exercise is a misunderstanding of the complex hormonal and metabolic processes that regulate weight. He argues that a more nuanced understanding of the role of hormones and the types of foods we eat in regulating weight and overall health is needed to effectively address the obesity epidemic. Moreover, the CICO model ignores the role of physical activity in regulating fat storage. According to Taubes, physical activity has a minimal effect on weight loss, as the body will simply adjust its metabolic rate to compensate for the additional calories burned during exercise. Therefore, the book challenges the commonly held belief that weight gain is simply a result of consuming too many calories and not getting enough exercise, and provides evidence-based arguments for a more nuanced understanding of weight gain and the role of diet and physical activity in regulating body fat. Another misconception is that all calories are created equal and that a calorie from sugar is the same as a calorie from protein. Taubes argues that different types of calories can have very different effects on the body, and that the type of calories we consume is much more important than the number of calories we consume. According to Taubes, this notion has led to decades of misguided dietary advice and has contributed to the obesity epidemic. The author explains that while it's true that a calorie is a unit of energy, the body processes different types of calories differently based on their composition. For example, a calorie from sugar is metabolized differently than a calorie from protein. A calorie from sugar is quickly absorbed into the bloodstream and triggers the release of insulin, a hormone that regulates glucose levels. Over time, high insulin levels can lead to insulin resistance and obesity. On the other hand, a calorie from protein is less quickly absorbed into the bloodstream and has a more modest effect on insulin levels. Taubes also argues that different foods have different hormonal effects on the body that go beyond their calorie content. He notes that when we eat foods high in sugar and refined carbohydrates, it triggers the release of insulin, which in turn increases hunger and reduces the body's ability to burn fat. This is why diets high in sugar and refined carbohydrates can lead to weight gain, even if the calorie content is the same as a diet that is lower in these types of foods. Taubes argues that the belief that all calories are created equal is a misunderstanding of the complex metabolic processes that occur in the body. He argues that a calorie from sugar is not the same as a calorie from protein and that the type of calories we consume plays an important role in regulating our weight and overall health. Gary Taubes argues that the popular belief that weight gain is primarily the result of poor self-control and lack of discipline is a misunderstanding of the science of obesity and metabolism. According to Taubes, this notion has led to decades of misguided dietary advice and has contributed to the obesity epidemic. The author explains that weight gain is not simply a matter of taking in more calories than we burn. He argues that hormones, particularly insulin, play a critical role in regulating fat storage and metabolism. When we eat foods high in sugar and refined carbohydrates, it triggers the release of insulin, which in turn increases hunger and reduces the body's ability to burn fat. This hormonal effect can make it difficult to control our food intake, even if we have strong willpower and self-discipline. Taubes also argues that the belief in poor self-control as the primary cause of weight gain has led to a stigmatization of overweight and obese individuals, creating a negative cultural attitude towards them. This has resulted in a focus on individual responsibility for weight loss, rather than addressing the root causes of the obesity epidemic, such as the hormonal effects of the foods we eat. In conclusion, Taubes argues that the belief that weight gain is primarily the result of poor self-control and lack of discipline is a misunderstanding of the complex hormonal and metabolic processes that regulate weight. He argues that the focus on individual responsibility for weight loss should be replaced with a more nuanced understanding of the role of hormones and the types of foods we eat in regulating weight and overall health. The Science of Weight Gain. Gary Taubes explains how the hormonal regulation of fat tissue plays a key role in weight gain. He explains how hormones like insulin, which regulate our blood sugar levels, also regulate the amount of fat we store in our bodies. When we consume carbohydrates, insulin levels rise, which tells our bodies to store more fat. Gary Taubes, the author, delves into the science behind weight gain and seeks to dispel the many misconceptions surrounding it. One of the key points he makes is that weight gain is not simply a result of consuming more calories than one burns. Rather, it is a complex process that is influenced by a number of factors, including hormones and genetics. To prove this point, Taubes cites several scientific studies, including one that looked at the metabolic rates of obese and lean individuals. The results showed that obese individuals had a slower metabolic rate than their lean counterparts, even when they consumed the same number of calories. This evidence supports the idea that weight gain is not simply a matter of calories in versus calories out, but is a result of a complex interplay of hormones, genetics, and other factors. Another scientific study mentioned in the book looked at the effects of a high-carbohydrate diet on insulin levels and weight gain. The study found that a high-carbohydrate diet caused a spike in insulin levels, which in turn led to increased fat storage and weight gain. This evidence supports the idea that a diet high in carbohydrates can contribute to weight gain, even if the total number of calories consumed is the same. In addition to these scientific studies, Taubes also cites other evidence, including observations of populations with low carbohydrate diets and low rates of obesity, to support his argument that weight gain is not simply a result of consuming too many calories. Overall, the book presents a comprehensive overview of the science behind weight gain and seeks to dispel the many misconceptions surrounding it, providing a solid foundation for understanding the true causes of weight gain and what can be done to address it. The impact of refined carbohydrates on weight gain is a key topic. According to Taubes, refined carbohydrates are a major contributor to the obesity epidemic, and they have a unique impact on the human body that sets them apart from other foods. One of the main arguments Taubes makes in the book is that refined carbohydrates stimulate insulin secretion, which in turn promotes fat storage. This is because insulin is a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels, and when levels of glucose in the blood rise, insulin secretion increases. Insulin helps to clear glucose from the bloodstream and store it in the liver and muscle tissue, but if the glucose is not burned for energy, it is converted to fat and stored in adipose tissue. This is why diets high in refined carbohydrates can lead to weight gain, even if they are low in total calories. Taubes also argues that refined carbohydrates can interfere with the body's regulation of hunger and metabolism. For example, refined carbohydrates can quickly raise blood sugar levels, leading to a spike in insulin secretion. This can cause a rapid drop in blood sugar levels, leading to feelings of hunger and decreased metabolism. As a result, people who consume a lot of refined carbohydrates are more likely to overeat and to have difficulty losing weight. To support these claims, Taubes cites several scientific studies, including a study that showed that people who consumed a high-carbohydrate diet had higher levels of insulin and were more likely to gain weight than those who consumed a low-carbohydrate diet. Another study showed that people who consumed a low-carbohydrate diet had improved insulin sensitivity and a reduced risk of obesity and diabetes. Overall, Taubes argues that the impact of refined carbohydrates on weight gain is significant, and that reducing their consumption is an important step in preventing obesity and promoting weight loss. The author delves into the concept of a low-carbohydrate solution as a way to combat weight gain. According to Taubes, the idea behind the low-carbohydrate solution is to restrict the intake of refined carbohydrates, which are known to contribute to weight gain, and replace them with foods that are high in healthy fats and protein. One of the key points that Taubes makes in the book is that the body handles carbohydrates differently than it does fats and proteins. When we eat refined carbohydrates like sugar, white flour, and other processed foods, our insulin levels spike, which leads to fat storage and weight gain. On the other hand, when we eat foods that are high in healthy fats and protein, our insulin levels remain stable, allowing us to burn fat for energy and lose weight. To support this point, Taubes cites numerous scientific studies that have been conducted over the years. One of these studies is the Minnesota starvation experiment, which showed that when people are on a low-carbohydrate diet, they experience a decrease in insulin levels, which leads to an increase in fat burning and weight loss. Another study, the A to Z weight loss study, found that people who followed a low-carbohydrate diet lost more weight than those who followed a low-fat diet. The Minnesota starvation experiment was a study conducted by Ancel Keys in the 1940s to understand the effects of famine and food deprivation on the human body. During World War II, there were food shortages in Europe, and the study aimed to gather data on how the body responds to food deprivation and the consequences of this response. The study lasted for 6 months and involved 36 healthy young men who were semi-starved for 24 weeks. During this period, their caloric intake was reduced by half, and they were made to walk 22 miles per week. The results of the study showed that the semi-starved participants experienced a range of physiological and psychological changes. They experienced significant weight loss, decreased muscle mass, and changes in hormones such as insulin and testosterone. The participants also reported feelings of irritability, fatigue, and depression, and their metabolism slowed down, making it difficult for them to maintain their weight loss once they started eating normally again. The Minnesota starvation experiment was an important study that helped researchers understand the physiological and psychological consequences of food deprivation. The findings of this study have been used to inform policies and guidelines related to food and nutrition, and it remains a landmark study in the field of nutrition and metabolism. The A to Z weight loss study was a clinical trial conducted by Dr. Gary D. Foster and colleagues in 2004. The study was designed to compare the weight loss effectiveness of 4 popular diets, including the Atkins diet, the Zone diet, the Ornish diet, and the Learn diet, based on the National Cholesterol Education Program. The study was a randomized controlled trial and included 311 overweight and obese individuals who followed each of the 4 diets for 4 months. The results of the study showed that the Atkins diet resulted in the greatest weight loss compared to the other diets. Participants on the Atkins diet lost an average of 10.4 pounds compared to 3.3 pounds lost on the Learn diet, 2.5 pounds lost on the Zone diet, and 1.6 pounds lost on the Ornish diet. Additionally, the study found that the Atkins diet also improved other markers of health, such as triglycerides and high-density lipoprotein cholesterol. This study is often cited by supporters of low-carbohydrate diets as evidence of their effectiveness for weight loss. In conclusion, Taubes argues that a low-carbohydrate solution can be an effective way to combat weight gain and improve overall health. By restricting refined carbohydrates and incorporating more healthy fats and proteins into our diets, we can improve insulin sensitivity, increase fat burning, and ultimately achieve our weight loss goals. The author provides several real-life examples of people who have successfully followed a low-carbohydrate diet to lose weight. These examples are used to illustrate the effectiveness of the low-carbohydrate approach, and to show how this approach can help people overcome the misconceptions about weight gain and the science of weight gain. Karen is a real-life example of a person who was able to successfully lose weight and improve her health by following a low-carbohydrate diet. Karen was previously overweight and had been trying various diets, such as low-fat and low-calorie diets, to lose weight. However, she found that these diets often left her feeling hungry and unsatisfied, and she would often end up gaining the weight back. After learning about the low-carbohydrate approach, Karen decided to give it a try. She was amazed by the results, as she was able to eat food that she enjoyed and felt full and satisfied without feeling hungry or deprived. As a result, Karen was able to stick to the diet and lose weight without feeling like she was sacrificing anything. Over time, her weight loss led to improved health markers, such as a reduction in blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Karen's story is a testament to the effectiveness of the low-carbohydrate approach for weight loss and improved health, and serves as an example of how this approach can be a successful and sustainable solution for those struggling with weight gain. Jim's real-life example from the book is used to illustrate the benefits of the low-carbohydrate approach to weight loss. Jim is a man in his mid-50s who was overweight and had been struggling with his weight for many years. He had tried various diets in the past but none had worked for him long-term. After learning about the low-carbohydrate approach, he decided to give it a try. Jim followed the low-carbohydrate approach for several months and was amazed by the results. He lost weight and his cholesterol levels dropped dramatically. He also noticed improvements in his energy levels and overall health. According to the book, Jim's story is a testament to the effectiveness of the low-carbohydrate approach and shows how it can help people achieve their weight loss goals and improve their overall health. In conclusion, Why We Get Fat, and What to Do About It, is a valuable resource for anyone who is looking to better understand the causes of weight gain and how to combat it. By understanding the hormonal regulation of fat tissue and the impact of refined carbohydrates, we can make informed decisions about our diets and take control of our health. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video informative and helpful. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel for more great content.